your background was visual merchandising, which is partly why the bar looks so amazing.
Thank you.
And then you've kind of transitioned into this role as bar manager now. So how long have you been doing that for, and how have you found that sort of taking on this role and starting the bar here for us at Baddo?
Well, I'd previously worked with the people that were here before, and even though I do visual merchandising in previous, I've done it in large scale. So I've worked with big businesses and also done kind of a lot of budgeting and staffing and trainings and things like that. So I'm kind of got all that sort of behind me anyway, and I love a challenge. And when it was presented to me to be able to take over this, I'd done bar work, and I think everyone's done some kind of bar work or waitressing or something in their time, but it's like anything, you just got to train the right people, and it's got to be the right personalities, people that are going to fit into the venue, people that are going to work with everyone, the team members. Like, we work very closely with the catering team, and it was kind of a big challenge, but kind of a really enjoyable one. And it's been a fantastic process, and I've just loved every minute of it.
So I've got some questions here relating to drinks on a wedding day, and I'm just going to go through and ask you a few questions so we can give people advice on, do's and do not do's on a wedding day. So should you put a tab behind the bar on your wedding day?
Again, it's be down to the bride and grooms itself. Some people want a tab, and they know that there's going to be family members that are going to do it. It's usually like dads or mums and brothers or whatever jump in and say, "Oh, I'm going to do a tab," or they decide that they are only going to give them a certain amount of drinks, which are the reception package ones, and then the rest will go into paid bar. So we kind of work with them on their taste testings and find that information first, just as a guide, and then we try and do prepaid drinks as well. So there's, that's already been allocated. And we help them with that, because we will do it at kind of the prices that we've already locked them in, so they're not paying the next year's prices. So a lot of people do that. And then tab-wise, we generally will sort that out when we do the drop-off, because we offer a nice drop-off the day before for our bride and grooms, which is lovely. They bring all their stuff that they need to. They can then sort out some bits that are not needed to in the morning, so it's not too much rushed. And then we know we'll give them an idea of what tabs should be if they want tabs, so it'll go by the number of guests.
So have you got a formula for that then, how you would work that out?
Yeah, it kind of, like you say, you go on the ratio, so that you can say to them like £8.50. We always do house rules. So it's like, no doubles, no shots, no cocktails. So you're looking at an average of an £8.50 drink, £9 maximum, and then you can kind of work those numbers out to your ratio of people that you've got. So that whether you want to sort of like something like that, then some people say they want absolutely any drink given to them, so it will change, and it sometimes changes throughout the night. We approach them if once they're hitting a tab, if it's coming to a tab, if they want to add on more. If not, then we'll literally go straight onto pay bar. So we kind of run it and we assess it throughout the day, but there's no sort of structure to it, as in, yes, we set something in place, but throughout the day we'll kind of know that we've got to speak to Dad about it or whatever like that. So
you referenced drinks packages in that. What would you say is a typical drinks package? What sort of works for a drinks package?
So the drinks package is very reasonable, I think, for us. We offer at this year's prices is £35 per head. But in that you get 2 glasses of Prosecco on your reception drinks, you get half a bottle of wine, and you get a toast Prosecco. So it's quite a generous amount that you actually get in there. Plus we also adapt it. So the reception drinks, some people like to go with Pims, so we'll swap it out. So for summer weddings, we've had winter Pims in some of the others, or they want to do Aperol Spritz, so it's slight upgrades. So you can just work along that side.
Perfect. And then do you find that a lot of couples will need like a tea and coffee station later on in the evening after a wedding? Is that still popular? Does that work?
No, it's kind of dissolved that. I think, it's an outset that they don't really need to have. We do it as tea and coffee on demand. And we work it that basically you do get the odd ones now that you'll have, obviously nanas and whatever that want cups of tea and coffee, and we identify those anyway. But we'll also, once one person sees a coffee, the other person wants a coffee, and you kind of have a little bit of a snowball, and it might kind of go towards the end of the night where people are trying to get a bit sober.
Yeah.
So the coffees come out then. We know that we've got to have someone that's dedicated to really kind of be on that bit.
Yeah.
So
I think trends have changed with coffee as well. It used to be filter coffee. We've got a
Yeah.
lovely coffee machine now, so you can get a nice cappuccino, whatever anyone wants. So yeah, that works. So what would you do to accommodate a guest that doesn't drink alcohol, whether that's culturally or just, you know, they've chosen not to drink? How do you manage that?
Again, we'll identify that. They'll probably say it within their first part of the show rounds anyway. So we've kind of identified that already. In the taste testings, we'll then do an offering to what they would like, you know, whether that's mocktails that we make up or fruit punches or anything like that. We've done quite a few that have done that, so we can make it, jazz it up a bit more with fruits and things, just so that it's more, you know, presentable. People just kind of like the look and everything. So we will kind of offer those sort of things anyway, and adapt it to them, really.
Yeah, and I guess with the functionality of the bar, you've got the blinds that go down.
Yeah,
as
so
well,
the blinds can go down, and then we can close it off. We have done it before. We've stripped it before and stuff like that, and then dressed it differently. Some people have requested the shots trolleys to be out, not be on the show, because they don't want shots being done. So there's all different things. Every wedding is different, and they will have specific things that they want, you know, and they'll put in requests and some funny ones as well.
And I guess if there was an individual member of that wedding party that didn't drink, would you be able to identify them and serve them accordingly as well?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we've had ones in the past before where we've got people bridesmaids that are pregnant secretly, do not know.
Yeah.
Things like that. So we've had a lot of things that we'll ask all those sort of questions anyway in sort of planning meetings and things like that anyway, and emails, you know, is there anybody that we need to be identified that maybe has a drink problem or whatever, you know? So we've had to kind of deal with all those things. So a lot of those things I've already kind of worked out before the actual wedding day, and I generally do a lot of when they do the drop-offs, I do the meet and greet with them then as well, so I can cover any last minute things, you know, so that we're good for the day. I don't like to be stuck for the day, you know. I've got Nana that will only drink Cinzano, you know. Yeah. But I need to be able to have those things that I know that it's good, and that whole day is going to run as smooth as possible.
You can accommodate everyone.
Yeah.
So then, thinking about that, when would you say is an appropriate time to start serving alcohol at a wedding? So I know you will be limited to licences and things like that, but in thinking about the flow of the day, when sort of would you suggest?
So we offer first if they do want to have it before the ceremony, but we do stress to them that obviously some people are like, oh, I don't want people drinking, but then you've had people that will come far and they just want to have a drink before they go. But, you know, so we try and do that. We close the bar 15 minutes before, we clear it all. We will say to them when we're actually serving them that we will be closing the bar before the ceremony, and we will take the drink away from you because it cannot be on the ceremony itself. So yeah, they're just aware of it. So if you want to have a drink, you know, you can. Some people are like, I don't want drinks served before, just can we have waters? We always put waters out anyway, especially on the hot weddings. We'll be handing waters out and stuff. Don't want anyone collapsing on the day and not even getting there to the evening.
Sure.
So we just kind of like, we will sort of like do that, but all that information is probably sorted out before, on as in when they want it to start. Some people only want the reception drink served, and then it to be just a bar that they pay, and then their tab starts later in the evening, so it stops people from buying ad hoc drinks. The other thing that I do, which works really well for us, is in the drinks package, because it's quite generous, we take a few bottles of wine out and then we just do free soft drinks. So it actually evens out, so you're not charging someone for a soft drink, and it makes it much nicer for people, because you've got some people, like you say, that are not drinking, but most of the people we've already identified anyway. Or if we see someone who hasn't got a drink in their hand, it will be, can I get you something else? Tea, coffee, whatever, because some people are frightened to even ask, you know.
So then how do you manage that in terms of, you know, guests queuing for drinks as well? So if you're, you know, actively promoting that everyone's got a drink and they're looked after, how do you manage queues at bars?
We don't really have them because I'm so well staffed. It is a case, again, we've got the numbers, so we know exactly what we've got. It's not like we're at a pub or a bar that you don't know who's coming in through those doors. We know who's coming through the doors. We know the numbers. So, you know, I need to know that if it is like over 100 that we're dealing with, I might be running 2-3 bars. because we don't want to create queues. We want to make sure that the flow's going constantly.
Yeah.
So and with my staff, they're just constantly sort of tagging each other. So there's always someone around. So that's how we work it.
So with that in mind, you've looked after them all day. You've made sure they've had a nice time. They've had good drinks. They're not having to queue. What do you do? What is the process for when they've had too much to drink? What do you do at that stage?
We provide water and chairs. We've done that before. We will kind of say to them, I think you need to kind of have a break. If you can sober up a little bit more, then we will serve you a little bit later. I actually had a groomsman I had to put to bed at 8:30 on the last wedding. And he just literally couldn't even stand. So
it's a long day, isn't it? It is a long day of drinking.
It is a long day of drinking. And some people are really good and work it through. And some people, like I said, you can see the worst for worse.
So
and
just keeping an eye on
it.
It
is just monitoring it.
Yeah.
And we'll identify it and then sort of tell the staff not to serve that person. If it becomes a problem or an issue, then we will get a family member to then have a little word. That's the way how we can try and work it.
Sure. And then thinking about drinks for the day, do you think cocktails are a good addition to a day? Can you?
I think it's a really nice thing, as in we do a lovely 15 pour tower. So they're like really lovely coupe glasses that we stack, and then we've had all different. We've done signature cocktails where they can pick their own cocktails. And it's really nice to do a tower, and then they do the last shake of the pour of the last one, or they've done champagne pours or prosecco pours. But it's quite nice to do under the pavilion. We've also done it in drawing room for winter weddings.
Yeah.
But it's a nice thing to get them out from the wedding breakfast so that we can do the flip round. Yeah. So it's kind of that transition where we've got an hour and a half to open bars up. Then we can do kind of shots under the pavilion. It's nice. It's a good thing.
And I guess that's a nice way for evening guests to come in and feel like they're included as well, because they miss quite a bit of what's happened prior to that. So that's a good way to integrate them into the party as well. So
nice.
And then when would you say is the best time to call last orders? So I know, again, it's licences you have to adhere to. But
so we can't take any transactions after 12 o'clock unless they do an extended licence, which is feasible. We can do that.
Do you recommend a extended licence?
No, I don't. To tell the truth, because we're a venue that's not pushing people out the door at 12 o'clock, you've got some people that are still waiting for taxis at like 1, 2 in the morning. It's not ideal, but it happens. And like I said, the people that are staying here, they've got access to the whole property, so they can go to the fire pit and then enjoy and carry on the evening rather than going to bed. Whereas a lot of venues, they're like literally saying, okay, lights out, done, DJ's done, last orders were done. Whereas we do like last orders at 11:30, and then we will literally, whatever they want, they can pre-order stuff and do like some other drinks, as long as the transaction's gone before 12 o'clock, and then they can carry it on. And some have partied on till 3, 4 in the morning. It's up to them what they want to do. They've got the beauty of the grounds, or they can go to bed and enjoy the beds.
So you mentioned the fire pit. Can you tell us a little bit more about what happens at the fire pit then?
Yeah, it's a nice thing for us that we've done, and it's kind of creating like a Love Island effect, with the cushions and the fire pit going and the blankets, and we're offering kind of like, you can do a cheese board if you wanted. Lovely. Or something like some people have sausage rolls and things like that, because they've then got their peckish again, and then they take their drinks down there. And we've also done it where they don't have to, again, they might have had enough alcohol, they then want their coffees, some have had hot chocolates. And it's just that nice little congregation that the people that are staying can go down there, talk about the day, the evening, and reflect on everything. And it's just nice. That it's just like a finishing touch to it, rather than kind of the last song done, dusted, everyone leave. Exactly. It's sort of that carry on. So
done. We're all out of questions.
Cool, so maybe you could just do to the camera. Thanks.
To that one.
You can say thanks for talking to us.
Thanks for telling us about your
And thank you for watching.
Thank you for telling us everything. No, hang on a minute. Thank you for talking to us about the bar. Can I say it, Baddow Park House? Thank you for talking to us about the bar at Baddow Park House, and thank you for watching.